Welcome back to the Inspiration Station where stories spark action. I'm your host, Mr. U. Wherever you are and how you're watching this show, thanks for making us part of your week. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. And of course, you can find all of the shows on our brand across all podcast listening platforms and all social media. Thanks again for making us part of your week. In studio with us today, certified life coach who specializes in helping loved ones of addicts navigate the chaos, shame, and grief that always comes with addiction. Jennifer Chase is here. Jennifer, how are you today? So good to see you.
I'm so good.
So good to have you here. Great. Awesome. Let's jump into it. All right. So I see this so often, and addiction is a rough thing. It's really hard to understate what goes on and the impact it has. Even people who you may think, you know what, they're not affected by it. It's just my story, just my life. But they impact in such a great way. How do you feel like addiction has shaped your identity as a person, as a coach, etc.?
Yeah, so I'm the daughter of an alcoholic. I'm the granddaughter of an alcoholic. I'm somebody in long-term recovery myself, and I'm the mama of a recovering addict. So the disease of addiction has affected my life from almost every single perspective. And what I know to be true about addiction is it doesn't just affect the one person that's using. I think when we're deep in our addiction, we hope that it is only affecting us, right? We don't want to be affecting our loved ones in the way that it does. But what I know now from a 650 foot view atop all of the perspectives is this thing affects every inch of family members, whether you're using or not using.
That makes sense. I've been in this specific topic for quite a while when it comes to boundaries.
Yeah.
What's been the most challenging part of setting boundaries that stick? Not just for you, but maybe also for your clients as well.
Yeah, I think the most important thing about boundaries are holding to them 100% of the time. So we've got to start smaller, right? I like to refer to them as a fence. You got to start with a low fence, and you have to start setting boundaries that you know you can hold to 100%. Because as family members, oftentimes we set really big boundaries with the idea that we want the addicted loved one to hold to the boundary, but they're never going to do it, right? And then the question is, can I hold to that really big boundary? Let's say if you come home late, you're getting kicked out, and I'm not quite ready to kick them out of the house yet, right? That's going to be very hard for me. And so they show up late and I don't kick them out. And that just reinforces that, from the addict's perspective, that nobody's going to really hold them to account. They're not going to have any consequences. So boundaries are very important, that you set one that you know you can hold to, even if it's not the boundary that we're trying to get at, right? Not even if it's the one of like, I'm going to kick you out of the house. We got to start small so that we can start setting a precedence that when I set a boundary, I'm holding to it.
Good. Your perspective is very, very unique. And you already kind of highlighted it in the beginning of the show, where you were the daughter of an addict and then the mother of addicts. You got to see both sides of the equation. What are you learning about you by having to kind of toe this line? How have you changed by having to embrace both sides of this?
Yeah, well, not only do I have a dad and a son that struggle with addiction, but I'm in recovery myself too. So I have that three-pronged. And what it said about me is that I'm incredibly grateful to be an addict. I'm incredibly grateful to have walked this path specifically with my son, because I think it has created the most authentic versions of us, right? We've had to rip all of the BS, if you will, out and really figure out like why I use substance, why it became my solution, what wasn't working in the family system for my son, where he also needed substance as a solution. And so it's really broke us down to the most authentic versions of ourselves, where we can find real joy and happiness. And that took a while. It didn't happen overnight. And of course, we had to walk through a lot of sludge to get there. But addiction has been actually a huge blessing in our life.
I hear the word, and I speak to people who are in situations like yours. They come on one of our 4 shows all the time. And I hear the word codependency.
Yeah.
I need you to do something for me that I don't ask guests to do normally. I need you to bust a myth about what that actually is. I don't care how deep you got to get and how hard you got to get with it, but people are doing this and they think that they're really helping and they're really not. Break
Well,
break the
go
codependency
ahead.
for us if you can.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a myth, right? This idea from a mom's perspective that I'm helping my child by not allowing them to be homeless or not allowing them to go to jail or not allowing them. My big one was I found out my son was using when he was in high school. And the idea of letting him have consequences of not graduating high school, right? This idea that I'm helping, this idea that I'm nurturing, and protecting is it is a myth. It's a fallacy in the sense that the only way we stop using substance as somebody that is addicted to substance is when the consequences of this thing start outweighing the benefits. And the only way for that pendulum to start switching is for my family around me to start letting me experience the full weight of my choices and consequences, right? And as a family member, we aren't the ones that are causing the addiction, but I need people to hear me right now. We can contribute to the length of this thing. And so when we start removing people's consequences from their use, they use a lot longer. I used a lot longer because my husband was a fantastic codependent, right? And so my disease, I was able to use a lot longer because he just eliminated all the consequences for me. So if you're a mama right now, and I know it's hard, just because it's what is true and what is helpful doesn't mean that it's easy, right? Doesn't mean it's not going to take a tremendous amount of courage to walk through it. But what I want you to hear is that you are potentially contributing for this thing lasting a lot longer.
Yeah. This hits close to home for a lot of reasons, but I've seen this so many times with people, and I don't know if it's just a human mindset or if it's ego. I'm not really sure which one. Maybe it's all of the above. But I've seen people who have kind of a endeavor to save somebody, if you will, in situations like this, and they end up miscalculating the exchange of what they have to give out, what they have to expend, what they lose in order to quote unquote save another person. Yeah. Can you speak to what that looks like so that this make the signs clear for people so that they see, you know what, you're in this place. This is a danger zone. Be careful here.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of it's problematic in a lot of ways, but let me share with you too. The first problematic part is, you hear the cliche all the time that you can't pour from a cup that's empty, right? And so often from a place of codependency, we have quite literally given everything. We have no joy. We have no peace. We are like, everything has been drained from us. It's, from a cartoon's character, it's like a little, skinny, little skinny cartoon character. And so the idea that I'm going to be helpful from that perspective, it doesn't make any sense. Right. But I think, the other part that I want to say about that is that, especially as moms, we have this idea that, we have made a decision on what a good mom looks like, oftentimes from our own childhood, right? For instance, I have a mom that I didn't feel very protected by. And so my view of being a good mom was that my kids are always going to feel protected. And so I'm rescuing and enabling out of what's best for me, not what's best for my child. If you believe anything that I just said, which is the discomfort of this thing is going to help the disease resolve faster, then if I'm making it last longer, I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for what's best for my child, right? I'm doing it because it's what feels right and helps my own wounds from my childhood. And so we've got to look at this from I've got to get healthy perspective. Right? We all kind of have to find a new perspective, a new insight. I call it our family dance floor. We all have to learn a new dance in order for the addict to find sobriety, but also once they have sobriety to be able to get back down on our dance floor and everybody be happy, authentic, and joyful.
Normally, when people come on our show, sometimes, and it's probably just a YouTube thing, it just seems to be germane to them. We get some weird comments that come through. Most times, I don't even acknowledge them whatsoever. In this case, I want to make one exception. I do have a personal feeling about this particular kind of thing from a spiritual, religious standpoint, if you will. I have some feelings about this, but I'm going to post a comment and then I'm going to ask you a question, okay?
Yeah. Please.
So we're giving somebody some play today. All right. So, Jennifer, if somebody looked at your life and they said, because of your upbringing, because of what you experienced, you should have known better than to blank or to get involved in this kind of a journey, what would you say to challenge that assumption about the generational cycles along with personal responsibility? Long question, I know, but did you catch it? Can you answer that for us?
And I love it, because if you and I were to be doing this podcast for an hour, this is one of the things that I would have hit on. So again, I'm the granddaughter of an alcoholic. I'm the great granddaughter of an alcoholic. I'm the granddaughter of an alcoholic. This thing runs deep in my genetics, right? I grew up in a home that was, you would have thought it was a blessed house, right? I had all of my family were successful. They got up and went to work every day. I was blessed with a lot of opportunities growing up, right? And I knew early on, again, and also I think it's important to note that I was sexually abused by my mom's dad growing up, which is a tremendously common in this kind of dynamic of addiction, right? And I didn't know anything when I was 15, 16, I wouldn't have been able to tell you if I was going to be a mom or if I was going to college or what I was going to do, but I could have told you with 100% certainty that I was not going to be an alcoholic. I didn't care about anything else, nothing else. I was not going to repeat carry on this link, these chains, if you will, that were passed generationally for me. And I think, my story is a little different in the sense that I was introduced, was addicted to opiates. When I was 29, I had a brain tumor. And when they removed that brain tumor, they caused chronic pain, which I was introduced to opiates in the early 2000s in America when the epidemic was going on. But look, this could have been alcohol, because this is the most important thing to understand. Substance is not the problem. Substance is the solution to the problem. Forever, right? So when you have generational trauma and generational experience and biology, I don't think there's a person on this earth that wanted their life to look different than I did.
Yeah.
But the problem is when I was introduced to substance, all of a sudden, this pain that I had experienced my whole life was mitigated. And it was gone, and I could breathe, and I could fit in my skin, and I could finally be okay. And when I talk about the pendulum, like the benefits of this thing, there weren't any consequences. And I never thought that was going to be me that was addicted to substance. And none of us do, right? It's by the time we realize we're in trouble, we're so far, we've missed the boat, right? Because again, this isn't about substance. This is about this hole inside of me, this trauma inside of me, this whatever it is. And everybody's story isn't mine, but everybody has one, right? If there's somebody that is addicted to substance, they have something inside of them that they are trying to numb, that they're trying to make feel better. And so even from my perspective, where I knew I had the biology, I knew that there was a problem, right? Substance found me. And it isn't until I heal the problem, the actual problem, and stop using substance as a solution to it is when I can live a life free of substance.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really good. Final question for you. We have your website up on the screen for those that are listening to us and not watching. It'll be also in the show notes and, of course, in the comment and chat when you check out the replay of the episode, whenever you get around to doing so. I believe it's wiseaddictionlc.com, right? Did I get that right?
You did, yes. Make sure you put www on there, because for some reason right now my website's not working without of it. So it's
okay.
www.riseaddiction.lc.com.
Copy that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. So final question for you, and then we'll close the broadcast out. And of course, at the end of that, you can let folks know where to find you if it's something beyond your website. Is there advice you have for somebody who has quote unquote tried everything and nothing is working?
Yeah.
Misconception about what it looks like to get to unlearn some things. How would you speak to them?
Are you talking from like an addict, somebody that's struggling with substance? Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm a quote girl, and my higher power speaks to me through quotes sometimes. And there's a quote I want to share with you that answers this question. The quote is by Joseph Campbell, and it says, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." And my guess is, if somebody has tried it all, right? If they've tried rehab, they've gone 15 times, they go to AA every day, and it's not working, it's because they are looking at this thing as substance being the problem, right? They've got to go inside of their cave. They've got to, in order to find recovery and joy and serenity, we have to go inside of our cave, and we have to figure out what the real problem is. And this is the thing, as a society, as a family, as somebody that struggles with addiction, even, we look at this as if I can just stop using Coke, all of my problems are going to go away. But the thing is, Coke is the only coping skill that you've ever had to deal with life. And until you learn new coping skills to deal with the hard of life, we are always going to find Coke. And so if you have tried everything and have not found some success, my prayer for you is that you will find some people around you that you have enough trust in that you can walk inside of your cave and start doing that work.
Thank you so much. Certified life coach Jennifer Chase. Thanks for being with us today and for sharing your story, which is definitely powerful and hopefully helpful to every listener. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks. It was a great time.
Check out www.riseaddictionlc.com. That's Jennifer Chase. I'm Mr. U. Thanks for watching the Inspiration Station, where stories spark action. Now it's time to act. Have a great